So this Valley Bootcamp, huh? What's the big draw? What would make someone want to jump into that world, especially right in the thick of the tech scene?
Well, it's got to be more than just, learning to code, right?
Yeah.
It's like they're trying to bottle that Silicon Valley energy, that way
Yeah.
of thinking. And this boot camp seems to get that. The networking, the pitching, even like polishing up those communication skills.
Yeah, yeah. Because that's huge in business, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And they've got this whole agile at school thing going on. What's that all about?
I was curious about that too. Like my college experience, lectures, man, lots of lectures. This sounds like the
The
opposite.
complete opposite.
Yeah.
Agile, if you're talking tech, it's all about moving fast, adapting, testing your ideas out constantly.
Yeah.
So Agile at school is probably like super hands-on, project-based.
Makes sense.
Instead of just listening to someone talk about it, they throw you in. You're building, you're messing up, you're learning all on the fly.
So it's like real world from day one.
Exactly. It's like drinking from a fire hose, probably.
And they got this boot camp in two places, right? Silicon Valley and San Diego. What's the thinking there? Why both?
Two major tech hubs. But, they've got different vibes.
Oh, for sure.
Silicon Valley, it's all go, 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 disruptive. You've got people from all over chasing that dream, investors too.
Right, right.
San Diego's a little more, I don't know, laid back. But it's got a big biotech scene, telecoms.
Interesting.
Seeing both, it's got to be good for your perspective, helps you find where you fit in.
Yeah, yeah, totally. And then there's the mentor situation. This
Yeah.
isn't some professor who's, read a book about startup.
Oh, no.
These are people who've been there, done that.
Exactly. Mentorship can make or break you when you're starting out. Imagine you're hashing out your business model and the person across from you, they've raised millions. Or you're giving your investor pitch and it's to someone who's been there, heard it all.
That's got to be invaluable.
Totally. And it sounds like it goes beyond just like formal mentoring sessions. They're building a whole community, this Valley family thing with the Discord server.
Right. It's like you're not just out there on your own after the boot camp's over.
Exactly. That's crucial because starting a business can be lonely. Having people who get it, who are going through the same stuff, that's huge.
Oh, for sure. Encouragement, advice, maybe even finding a co-founder. You never know.
Exactly.
Okay, so they've got this 4-week program and an 8-week one. That's a pretty big difference, isn't it?
Yeah, it makes you wonder who each one's for, right?
Right, like what kind of person does the shorter one work for?
Maybe someone who's like, let's do this, really wants to dive in head first.
Yeah, yeah.
Test the waters, see if building a startup is really their thing.
Get that MVP out there, get feedback.
Exactly. Validate that idea as fast as possible.
And the 8-week, that's got to be for someone who wants to go deeper, huh?
Totally. More time to refine things, customer research, really nailing down that business model.
I bet that extra time is huge when you're building something complex.
Absolutely. Gives you more breathing room to absorb everything.
And speaking of absorbing, that first week in Silicon Valley sounds intense.
Company visits, networking, they even mentioned connecting with French expats.
Wow. Talk about hitting the ground running.
They're throwing you right into the mix.
It's like they're airdropping you into the heart of it.
Exactly.
You get a feel for the energy, that ambition, and talking to those expats, those who've built something in a whole different country.
Oh, that's got to be insightful.
Yeah, learning from their experiences.
Oh.
Okay, so after that whirlwind, it's lean startup time. That's a bit of a buzzword these days, isn't it?
It is. But it's more than just a buzzword. It's a whole philosophy.
So break it down for me. What's important about it?
Well, it's about cutting to the chase. You figure out a problem that actually needs solving.
Right.
Then you build the simplest thing you can to test it.
Your MVP.
Exactly. You get that in front of real users, see what they think.
And that feedback can be brutal, can it?
Sometimes. But it's better to know early on if you're on the wrong track.
So you can pivot, make changes.
Exactly. The 8-week program, they even talk about prototyping.
Prototyping. What is that? Some
Yeah.
kind of futuristic prototype? Like in a movie.
Haha, I wish. It's more about being resourceful. Imagine testing demand for something before you even build it.
Okay. How do you do that?
Let's say you want to build an app. Instead of spending months on it, you create a simple landing page. Maybe even a fake download button.
Oh, interesting.
If people are clicking, you know there's interest. If not, you haven't wasted all that time building something nobody wants.
Smart.
I-
Failing fast, like you
Yeah.
were saying.
Yeah.
Okay, what else?
Well, they talk about this thing called the AARR funnel.
The what? Does that have something to do with pirates?
Haha. No pirates here. It's just a way to visualize the customer journey.
Okay, so what are the R's?
Each one's a stage. Acquisition, how do you get people interested?
Right.
Activation, how do you get them to actually use your product?
Makes sense.
Retention, how do you keep them coming back for more? Referral, how do they tell their friends? And finally, revenue, how do you actually make money?
So it's like a roadmap for the whole business, not just the product.
Exactly. It's about the big picture.
So you're done with the boot camp, you've got all this knowledge, but then what?
That's the real test, isn't it?
Right. Because it's easy to feel motivated when you're surrounded by other gung-ho entrepreneurs.
Exactly. But they seem to get that, this Valley family thing. It's not just for the boot camp, you know?
Oh, so it continues even after you graduate.
It sounds like it. The alumni network, the Discord server, it's there for them.
Which is huge, because trying to explain your startup struggles to your friends who are like, 9-to-5ers.
Good luck with that.
Right. They just don't get it.
Totally. Having people who speak the language, who've been there.
It's a game changer.
Absolutely. And it's not just, moral support. The networking possibilities are huge.
Oh, for sure. You've got this built-in network of people who are all in the same boat.
Exactly. Potential co-founders, mentors, even investors. But, it's important to be realistic.
Yeah.
A boot camp isn't a guarantee.
Right. No magic bullet.
Right. It gives you the tools, the connections, that mindset.
Yeah.
But you got to put in the work.
That hustle. And
Yeah.
it sounds like that Silicon Valley mindset is a big part of it.
They talk about it a lot. And I think it boils down to resilience, that willingness to try things, to fail fast, and learn from it.
It's like you're not afraid to break things, to experiment.
Exactly. So does this boot camp equal instant startup success? Probably not.
Right.
But it could be the push you need, the foundation. It's that spark, but you got to keep the fire going.
It's about finding your own path, whether you're in Silicon Valley or, building something amazing from your basement.
Exactly.
This has been a fascinating deep dive. We've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
But the big takeaway, it's not just about the where, it's about the how and the why. That Silicon Valley mindset. Figure out what it means for you. And who knows, maybe we'll be doing a deep dive on your startup someday. Until then, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep that entrepreneurial spirit burning bright.